Hi, I'm Mitch, the Director of Development of the Jaffa Institute. I'm so happy to be able to talk with you today and give you some background about the Jaffa Institute. Jaffa Institute is celebrating this year 40 years of service to underprivileged communities and people in need. It started in 1982 with the idea of breaking the cycle of poverty, drugs, crime, deprivation in slum communities in Jaffa and surrounding areas. Today, we are serving over 6,000 people in 40 different programs. In 1982, we started with 50 kids and 2 or 3 programs. We were able to raise $50,000 to start these programs from the Philadelphia community in the United States. Today, we've grown tremendously to a budget of 10 million US dollars, 35 million shekels. And we have a very strict policy of up to 10% is going to overhead. And this is giving every opportunity to change the lives of those in need. Another great thing is that Jaffa Institute's proud about is that 50% of this budget is coming from donations in Israel, which is really a great accomplishment that we've strided for many years, and we're there already. Our partners in Israel are participating not only in fundraising and giving funds to make sure that we are able to succeed in serving the populations, but they're also volunteering. They're also coming in and helping. For example, one of our programs with Holocaust survivors not only delivers food packages and social services to them and therapeutic services, but many of them are living in severe poverty in apartments that are run down that we wouldn't walk into. And today we see the difference that every year we're able to renovate 50 apartments and give a renewal on life to these people. Today, Erev Yom HaShoah, we remember those that we all lost, 6 million Jews during the Shoah, and we're very proud as an organization that we're able to help an amount of people that still are in their old age, still in their very old age, and needing help in every facet. Today there's 174,500 Holocaust survivors in Israel. It's a dwindling population, but while they're alive, we want to give them the best that they could get. They went through hell and back, and they deserve the best. But Holocaust Survivors is one of 40 programs. Our main focus is children at high risk, kids who have grown up in single-parent homes, in severe poverty, with no food in the house, with nothing to do beyond running outside and playing in the streets. And what the Jaffa Institute does has educational enrichment programs during formal school hours that gives these kids a push in education that they don't get at home. At 1:30, when school is over, hundreds of kids come into one of our centers, and we have many centers throughout Jaffa, South Tel Aviv, Chulon, Bat Yam, or Yehuda, Yehud. And we're giving these kids the first and most important thing is a hot meal. We find that many of them, if they were to go home after school, there's nothing in the refrigerator or the cabinets for them to eat. And it's so important that a child growing up has proper nourishment. I tell this story many times, and for many years we had a second grade kid come into our dining room, 8 years old. He came in with his backpack, and he was looking both ways in the dining room to see if any staff were around. And he started taking pita bread off of the table and stuffing his pockets and his backpack. And at the time, Esther, the cook, came running out and grabbed him and said, "What are you doing?" And the kid fell to the floor crying, hysterical, and he put his hands up like this. "Please don't call the police. I can't go to jail. I gotta go home. I gotta go home." After calming him down after 20 minutes in the staff room, we found out that his mother, who's a single parent, who was sick with the flu, he has a younger brother and sister who did not eat for 2 days because there's nothing to eat. And he felt that if he didn't steal the pita bread, he would get home and his brother and sister would be dead. This is no way for any child to grow up anywhere, especially in Israel. And there are many, many more stories like that. So the hot meal that they get, a nutritious hot meal right after school, is something super, super important. We also have in the morning delivering sandwiches to 1,200 kids in different schools. The same kids that may come to after school program for hot meals and other things receive a sandwich and a snack for their 10 o'clock break at school. This is done every day. It's delivered to the schools. It's given to those kids that we know do not come from home with something in their backpack. And sometimes we see the teachers or the kids themselves break the sandwich in half and give half of it to a kid that has nothing else. So nutrition or food insecurity is a very important part of our program. Because of all these stories, many years ago in 2000, 20 years ago, we started a food distribution center, which we targeted 190 families here in Jaffa, South Tel Aviv. Today we're serving 700 families every 2 weeks with food packages, dry food. It's packed by volunteers, it's delivered by volunteers, and this is making a difference in the families for what they have at home. We find that it may not repair the damage, it may not change their status, but a box of food that could cost in the supermarket anywhere between 450 and 500 shekels, which is $150, makes a difference to this family. It saves them that money from buying dry food goods. And this happens every 2 weeks. We just finished Passover, and we're very proud to say that over 4,000 packages were packed and shipped, delivered to people throughout the region who just don't have food for the holiday. So our food distribution center, another program, really gives a lot of service to a lot of people, and we're very proud of it. So after the kids eat their hot meal in our after school centers, most important is homework assistance, that they do it in our center, because at home they don't have computers, they don't have anybody that could advise them on homework, and this here gives them a push in their education. Once they finish their homework, they have an hour and a half to play on the computer systems that we have, if it's games, if it's research, whatever they like, and this way they are on top of their game with computers. As kids in better neighborhoods have their workshops or they have at home, these kids have the same exact thing at the Jaffa Institute. And throughout the day up till the evening, they're in different social activities, recreational activities, sports, arts and crafts, whatever you can think of. Parallel to this, we have a full therapeutic community and a full therapeutic division that's giving therapeutic services to all the kids that need it. They're coming into our services, we evaluate them, and if they need therapeutic services, they receive it from us on an ongoing basis. Of course, we have different subcategories to our therapeutic clinic, and one of them is a crisis intervention center, which houses kids who are removed from their homes. We have a residential school for boys from 7th grade to 12th grade, which is in Beit Shemesh. We have 400 people in the school. These are kids that are growing up in very poor families, recommended by social workers to be removed from their homes, to be able to have a better education and get away from the problem at home and change their lives. And I have to say that we're very proud that 97% of these kids are graduating high school and going on to the Army. And then they're coming back to us and asking us for scholarships for higher education. Within Beit Shemesh and Jaffa, we have a large Ethiopian population. Many of them are, some of them are new immigrants, some of them are second generation, and the poverty within the Ethiopian community is very high. And we had dedicated ourselves in Jaffa, in our neighborhood called Jaffa Dalid, to bring in as many Ethiopians that came into the neighborhood to give them the services to make them equal to everybody in this country, because they're Jews that came here, and we need to make them at home. We need to make them feel that they're getting the education that they need, and we need to make them productive citizens of Israel. During the summer, it's hot here. It's already hot here. And the kids have nothing to do. There's no playgrounds. There's nothing to do on the hot streets of Jaffa. And if we don't have our summer camps that go from July 1st till the end of August, and these kids have 2 months of summer camp with different sports and trips, swimming, arts and crafts, whatever you would do in a summer camp. And the cost is really cheap, $1,000 per child for the summer. Compared to what goes on in the rest of the world for summer camp, we have the best summer camp in the world. These kids love it. They remember it. We all remember summer camp. Why shouldn't these kids have something good during the summer, including a hot meal while they're in our care? The Jaffa Institute strives to break the poverty in every family that we have. We also work with parents, the Parents and Child Center, which gives parents of little kids direction and therapeutic services to understand what it is to develop a child, to give them the best education, to give them the quality service that they should get. If the parent doesn't understand it, they're coming into the center, they're being coached by our social workers and counselors, and the kids are going through different therapeutic programs. Another thing that we have is a program that takes women off of welfare. Welfare to Wellbeing program started also around 2000, where we took women who were not working and in severe poverty, and they may never have worked in their lives, but now after a course of 2 to 3 months that they're in an intensive course, they're able to get off of welfare and get out into the workforce and really change their lives. And the ripple effect that takes place is when mommy's working, the kids are going to do better in school. And we see this in all the women, and it's a really fantastic program. I could go on and on and on and tell you about everything that we do. There is so much, so many stories, so many thousands of lives that are changed in the Jaffa Institute since 1982. 40 years of excellent quality work, and I can only thank the great staff of the Jaffa Institute who are dedicated on a daily basis, making sure that every child has a future, and every child that needs help gets that help. And we don't do it alone. We have partners around the world who help us in fundraising, in bringing funds into the Jaffa Institute to meet our budgets. We're a nonprofit organization in many countries, and this help really changes the face of poverty. And just remember, these kids that we're talking about today are the future leaders of Israel. They need a good education. They live in a tough neighborhood in Jaffa, but we live in a tough neighborhood in the Middle East. We have tough neighbors and enemies that want to destroy us. That won't happen. But I could assure you that a kid that doesn't have a proper education cannot know what's out there, never mind what's on the streets of Jaffa. So by you involving yourself in what we do and helping us, you can make a difference. Please become a partner with us. Please come and visit us. We're here all the time. When Corona is over and travel starts again, we welcome you into our home here. We thank you in advance for your support. We hope that you'll be, for many years, involved with us, because you'll see that by changing a life, you save the world. And we really thank you and look forward to you being part of us. Thank you. Toda rabba. Shalom.